Democrats have impeached some of their cabinet members, slashed out budgets of the presidential office and the prosecutor's office. President Yoon saw this as a direct threat. Democrats plan to overthrow him from his office, and he declares a martial law, saying there are left-wing people in the parliament who is trying to paralyze this government. So on December 3, 24, which was about a year ago, he declares a martial law, which ended after 6 hours because the National Assembly members, the parliament members, voted against this martial law. There were two attempts for the National Assembly to impeach President Yoon. The first one was not successful. There were only about 190 votes out of 300. And they needed 200 votes out of 300 to impeach the president. So in the second National Assembly, 204 members voted for the impeachment of the president. The picture down here is where the spokesperson is declaring the impeachment will go forward. In April of this year, the court upheld the impeachment, saying the martial law was unconstitutional and unlawful. Yoon betrayed public trust and threatened rule of law, and that result immediately removed him from office. New election took place in 60 days, where the opposition leader and the current president Lee Jae-myung came into power. Under here, which I will leave the slide with Mr. A, under here there's a verdict of impeachment. It's basically what they have announced in the Supreme Court on that day. There is a link with that. If you're interested, you are welcome to read it. Why is this such a big issue? Why is society divided over this? First, like I mentioned, the impeachment of cabinet members was saying, which paralyzed the government. The president could not do anything. The government could not function as a government. They could not do anything because the cabinet members were impeached. But the result of this impeachment later on was the Supreme Court just said this was they overturned it. They said this is they have not enough evidence and they're just doing it to kill the current government. Secondly, suspicions of election fraud in two parliamentary elections. There are some evidences of where you could see this was a kind of small spreadsheet and all. But when President Yoon tried to investigate on that, he needed the permission of the parliament, and the majority of the parliament member was the opposition party, so that never went through. Lastly, the fourth one, I'm sorry, not the last one. The allegations that impeachment was aimed to protect the opposition leader or the current president. This part is where he was under trial, and the final verdict of his trial was about to come out in May of this year, April of this year. There were so many trials. I lost track of. But all of those verdicts were about to come out earlier this year. But by impeaching President Yoon and Lee Jae-myung President Lee Jae-myung coming into office, will stop the entire investigation, and the court cannot persecute him anymore once he's in power. So there were strong allegations that the opposition party were trying to protect the current president. Another one, the fifth one is, with all this going on, is this really for democracy, or is this a political retaliation? Because President Yoon continued to investigate the parliamentary members, the government officials, for corruption or any misdoing, to see if they have followed the law or not. Were they trying to protect themselves, or were they doing it out from their heart and for democracy? And the sixth one, why is Kim Gun the first lady a controversial issue? Because the administration before this, under President Moon Jae-in, the president before President Yoon, they have investigated on the first lady. They found nothing, and the court's the verdict was not guilty. But now he's in office, and the Democrats are asking, let's reinvestigate this. That was another controversial issue. They were not happy with the results, so they were trying to pressure the government to reinvestigate this.
What was she being investigated for?
Fraud. She was messing with the stocks and really bribing the government officials to build certain things in front of her real properties. So that was the two of the things. This one. This was not the first, second impeachment. There was 3 impeachments going on. President No, back in 2004, that's a long time ago. President Park and Yoon. President Park was under the charge of corruption scandal. President Yoon was abuse of power and martial law. The first president in 2004 was impeached because of abuse of power and trying to influence his political party. So this was the 3 presidents. The one in 2004 and President No, but this impeachment is overturned. He remained until the end of his term. 2 of the presidents were impeached and was taken out from office. So there was 3 attempts on the impeachment. 2 of them succeeded, 1 of them failed. Okay, really the public opinion and media's reaction is after President Park, the difference between President Park here and President Yoon is that it kind of, after the impeachment of President Park and when she was in office, the society was came back to itself and remained calm. But when President Yoon was removed from office, the society was split. There were so many rallies opposing people who are agreeing and opposing this. So yeah, the conservative media is calling this as a coup d'etat by the National Assembly. Progressive or the Democrats are saying this is a restoration of democracy. There are so many debates about this going on in Korea, and this is not one of the topics that you will be talking with your friends when you're meeting in Korea, or else you will get into a big fight. So yeah, and from this presentation, what I would really like to tell you guys is, you should see, not only for Korea, but for certain key events and what's going on around the world, don't just look at from one point of view. Look into a couple and don't just say, oh, I agree with this, I agree with that, with this or that. Try to have your own way of thinking and try to kind of come up with your own idea and why you kind of want to agree with this, why you don't want to agree with this, or it's fine to remain in the middle of your opinion. Your opinion is that valuable. But I just don't. So many Koreans, so many people in my country, the society is getting fooled sometimes are getting fooled, misled, misinformed by the politicians or by the media. And that's why people are going the wrong directions, could have gone in the wrong directions. And that's why this BF is very split of trust for the Korean politicians. So yeah, this is the end of the presentation. Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations.